Welcome back everybody to FTB. My name's Warrior009 and today's a special episode. We had a subscriber suggest something, actually he wanted to see more about it, and I'm glad that he said something about it. It's a subscriber named Tyler. He wanted to see more about sorting machines, and I'm really glad that he suggested this because it's different from Tekkit. There's a couple different things and that I didn't know about until I was reading up on it. So we're going to be going over some of the modes and like how to make the sorting machine and how to go through all these these modes here. So like I said, there's a couple different things from Tekkit. There's more modes. There's this new thing. These are this kind of affects the way redstone works, so you'll definitely see how this works. But just some of the basic things like how to make a sorting machine and stuff. He did ask to be shown how to make a sorting machine, and I'm going to show you how to make some of the other stuff that goes into a sorting machine. So a sorting machine takes iron ingots, red doped wafers, a filter, more iron ingots, and a blue alloy ingot. So iron ingots are very self-explanatory. Red doped wafers are not so self-explanatory. So when we click on a recipe thing, it takes a silicon wafer and a pile of redstone in an alloy furnace. Now these brick things over here are our alloy furnace, but to make a silicon wafer, you need a silicon buell and a diamond handsaw, and that makes your silicon wafers. And to make a silicon buell, you need coal and sand in an alloy furnace. So we should have, actually I have some, where's all my materials? There's sand in one of these. Okay. So we'll just steal some of the sand here. So to make our silicon buells, yeah. It's kind of a difficult word to say, but we need coal and sand. I don't have any coal. I'm going to grab some coal and we're going to put those in the alloy furnace. Nothing's changed from last episode. So we will be doing more Thaumcraft. I thought I finished tier 1 of Thaumcraft, but that didn't happen, so. But there's a couple more things I need to go over, and then I'll show you all the things that we did research and stuff, but that'll be on the next episode. But we'll run back here, we'll take our coal, we'll put it with our sand in our alloy furnace. So we'll put a couple pieces in there, we'll take our coal, put some sand in there. Actually, we'll keep some just for future reference. But this will make us our silicon buells. We also need our diamond handsaw. So to make one of these things, you just need 2 diamonds, 2 iron ingots, and a bunch of sticks. So we'll grab 3 sticks, 2 diamonds, and 3 iron ingots. Actually, I think it's only 2, but do I have a crafting table down here? I do not. So I need to grab some of the wood. These are being used, the stuff in the chest is going to be used for the actual sorting machine, so don't worry about that. But we'll take our sticks, 2 iron ingots, and a diamond, 2 diamonds, and that makes our diamond handsaw. So now we can take our silicon buells, we can put our diamond handsaw and it makes us 16 silicon wafers, which then we can take, it's kind of confusing sometimes, but we take our silicon wafer and redstone. We'll take these out because we don't need them anymore. Put those in, and that will make us that'll make us our red doped wafers. And in the meantime, we can make our blue alloy ingots, which is another thing we need. Just silver and nickelite will do it. So silver, nickelite, come over here, put that in there. So then while that's happening, I'll show you guys how to make a filter. A filter is just cobblestone, gold, a piston, and a red doped wafer. So it's very easy. I'm not going to show that because we have a filter made, we have our sorting machines made. But I just wanted to show you guys how to actually make these things. So blue alloy ingots is just silver and nickelite. Red doped wafers was through that little process to make the silicon wafer, and redstone in an alloy furnace. So you're going to need to make those before you can make your sorting machine. Once you do those, it's very easy, just simple crafting. But once you actually have the sorting machine, another thing you need is a battery box. This is a blue electric battery box or a red power battery box, depending on what you want to go with. It holds bluetricity. So a battery box is another simple thing to make. luckily enough. You just need BT batteries, iron ingots, a blue alloy ingot, which I just showed you, and a wood plank. A BT battery is just nickelite, copper, and tin. So very easy things to get. You should be able to get those within your first couple days if you want to make a sorting machine. Like if you're going around and getting materials and stuff like that. So is there anything else that we're going to need to show? Pneumatic tubes, if you guys haven't seen this before, it's just brass and glass. Brass is copper and tin in one of our alloy furnaces. So once again, another easy thing to make. But then finally, you're going to need some of this blue alloy wire. This I'll show you guys. But you need wool and more of your blue alloy ingots. When we come down here and look at this, these are actually what's powering our sorting machines. So we have it coming from our battery box, which is full. I just used BT battery so I didn't have to hook up anything. And it's going into our sorting machine. And we have this power bar filled up and that power bar filled up. So you guys do need blue electric energy to power these things. They will not work by themselves. You do need energy. But one of the cool things in FTB that's different than Tekkit is we don't necessarily need a redstone pulse. This used to, as far as I know, this was not there. I've never seen this before. So this little button here changes the game when it comes to these sorting machines. But we have 7 different modes. Most of them work best if attached to an inventory when they're in line. So let's say I was to have a sorting machine here. We'll grab one of these. And then also another thing, if you don't know, you need a screwdriver to change the orientation, and you need to have the little dot going towards your output and the bigger one as your input. So just remember that. But all of these 7 modes don't necessarily work that well when in line. They work much better with a chest. The 2 that you guys will see that do work best is this one, which is any item with a default root, and this one, which is any item whole stack with default root. And this allows you to set a color. You guys will see that. So those 2 work the best. We can actually see how it works in my sorting. I actually need to change my sorting facility around a little bit now that it's different, but as you guys can see, these are all in line. And I have, which one's this? This is the any item with default root. So this allows me to send items that aren't in this to a default color, which is the next one, which goes to my next one, my next sorting machine, which once again has all these things, and then to the next color and to the next color. So those are the 2 best ones to do. This takes single items for the most part, unless it's sending full stacks through. If it's just sending single items through, it'll only do single items. If it's sending full stacks, either one of these works, either of the ones with the colors, so don't worry about it. But we'll go back and I'll show you guys every mode it has basically, and then how that affects depending on where you have it. So we'll take that out. We'll put our pneumatic tube back in. We'll take our items that we have here. So we have gravel and sand, cobblestone and regular stone, dirt, and wood planks, and zombie flesh. So, zombie flesh is going to come into play later, but right now we have it set up. So we'll do our first one. Our first one is called Any Stack Sequential. It has this slider, as you guys can see, around this little, usually it's around the first one, but it's already ticked, so it's already here. But the slider moves from column to column, so it'll move from this column to this column to this column to this column, and all the way over, depending on how many items you have and how many colors you want. But with this one, it only waits for a single item in the column, and then it'll tick over to the next one. So with this though, this used to be different. You used to have a redstone pulse, whether it was a timer, which we have here. You could do it old school and set up a timer. Not really old school, but this is how it was. And then it would tick, it would send a redstone pulse through the sorting machine, and then it would change it depending on if a item went through of that column. But let's say, I believe this will be stuck if I don't put stone or cobblestone in there. So we'll put our wood, our dirt, our sand, and our gravel. And as you guys can see, it doesn't work because it's stuck on this column. You need cobblestone or stone for it to tick to the next one. So we'll put our cobblestone in there. And as you guys can see, it'll tick to our next one. And it'll keep going from left to right. Once it reaches one item, it'll tick it and then go to the next one, next column. And if you have a timer, you could set it to anything you want. But the cool thing about this, the new sorting machines, is this little feature here. This allows you, when it's adjacent to a chest or some sort of inventory, there's 3 different modes. There's single step, which is this one, which is 1 pulse of the redstone ignites a single step. The single step depends on what mode it is in. So for this, it'll just do, for every redstone, it'll tick to the next column. This, on the other hand, ticks by itself, which is the best part about this, because then you don't need these stupid things. So as you guys can see, it's just pulsing by itself and it's going through the sorting machine. So how awesome is that? And then the final one is single sweep, for use when a mode with a slider is selected. Every redstone pulse is remembered. So okay, so this one's a little bit different. This one's a little bit more complicated, but it is cool. I don't know if it's going to work that well on this mode. Let's see. So 1 redstone pulse. Actually, we'll crank this way up. So for every 6 seconds, it'll tick. And it'll act like it was 4. Because it remembered that it wants to tick every... It wants to do this little mode. So for every 6 seconds, or every 6.5 seconds, it'll do all 4. Which is kind of interesting. I haven't really found a true like use for it yet, but it could be useful in the future. But I am loving this automatic thing. This is the best part about this new sorting machine. I don't need timers anymore. It's amazing. But as you guys can see, we have the different colors set up. If you guys don't know, I forgot to mention that, but if you guys don't know the colors, you just need paint brushes, and you need to look up. I'm not going to show you how to make the paint, but if you have not enough items or too many items, you should be able to find it. If not, you can go to a wiki page. But then you just color the pipe depending on what color is corresponding in your sorting machine. So as you guys can see, our orange is taking our gravel and our sand. So right now it has our sand. It hasn't gotten to the gravel quite yet. Actually, there might not be gravel in there. Is there gravel in here? There is. It just hasn't gotten to it yet. Purple, red, and yellow. And pink will be for later. But that's the first mode. That's 1 of 7. So we'll turn this off. So, and we'll reset it actually. So we'll take our sand, cobblestone, dirt. Okay. So we'll reset this. We'll put everything back in here. Now, the problem with this one, actually, I don't think it... No, that one wouldn't quite matter. I don't think. At least it shouldn't. No, it won't even pull it, so... It won't pull it because there's nothing for it. There's no color corresponding to it. But our next one is all stack sequential. The slider moves just like the last one, but it waits for all items in the column. So it'll do sand and gravel. Actually, right now it'll do the planks, so we'll see what it does when we do it to automatic. It should do all 4 of the planks, if I put all 4 of the planks in. So as you guys can see, it might not look like all 4 of the planks are going because it's going to yellow, but you'll see all 4 of them are going to tick. They're all going to go down. So down here, all 4 of them are being sent. You can't really see them that well because they're all inside of each other, but what's happening here is it's taking, the sorting machine is taking out all 4 of these at once, 2 of these at once, 2 of these at once, and the dirt. So you guys can't quite see it, but everything's going to be ticking kind of at the same time. So 15 and 15, 15. Dirt's by itself, so you can't really see it. And then the wood. So that's another useful, or depending on what your system that you're building, I don't find a huge use for it because it'll get stuck. Let's say I don't have dirt. If I don't do dirt, it gets stuck. So it's the same with the first one, the any stack sequential and the all stack. So the first 2 will get stuck if you don't have an item in there that will correspond to your column. So that's not exactly what you want for a sorting machine, so we'll turn this off. We'll reset the system. But there are different uses for it. I mean, you guys, once you learn kind of like how these are used, you can use them in your own systems and figure out how everything works and how everything corresponds with each other. But our next mode is going to be this. This is random all stack. It's the same as the previous mode, but without the moving slider. So what's going to happen is the same exact thing, except it's not going to tick across. This kind of prevents the old one wouldn't work without dirt. This one will. Works the same way, so we're going to get dirt or gravel and sand at the same time, but it doesn't care that there's no dirt because there's no slider. So that's one of the better things. Once again, it's not a perfect situation for a sorting facility if you want to make a sorting facility, but if you are just, let's say you knew that you were only going to have wood or only going to have stone, and like you knew that you were only going to have these items in this chest. Those are the only things that were going to be put in this chest. This system actually works pretty well because it doesn't bog itself down when it's missing an item. Now, what could happen though, which I believe will happen, I might be able to stop the system there. No, as you guys can see, I did stop the system. It's still going with the dirt, or with the cobblestone and stone, but it's not sending any more wood because it doesn't have all of the things of the wood anymore. If I put that back in, it'll start sending the wood again. So that's another way to break the system. That's why I don't like this either. So as you guys can see, the first three systems can be broken. That's not what you want in a sorting facility or anything like that. So once again, we'll reset the system, get our items back here. Take those, come back down here. Now our fourth mode. Our fourth mode is any item. It will pull any of the items starting with those in the top left of the connected inventory. So the connected inventory is this. It's our little chest here. And as you guys could see before, it was only taking single items. It wasn't taking the full stack, which is kind of a pain depending on how many things are going to be going through your sorting facility or what you're going to be doing. If you like the single item look, those work out fine for you for the most part. Once again, this is probably going to be the same exact way, so we'll set it to automatic, and it's going to send one item constantly. This does work the best if you are having kind of just a single set sorting facility, or using something for not so much distribution. Distribution would not work out very well this way, but as you guys can see here, it's taking one out. Next one would be jungle wood, so it's going to send it to the same place. We'll take all these out, and then stone will go to purple. So it just sends it in a single line. It works pretty well. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of it because it doesn't... I can break it. At least I should be able to break it. I broke it before. Before I did the episode, I broke it this way. Oh. I might have been in a different mode, but usually you can break it by putting an item in there. Maybe I just glitched it out, but it only took items that it had available, so once again, for a sorting facility, it's not going to do you a heck of a lot of good because it'll stick with items that have nowhere to go, and it'll just fill up your chest and you won't be able to do anything with them. So that's one of the better ones because it doesn't break itself. It doesn't clog up the system. A good use for this is if you were to, let's say you were using quarries and stuff and you knew that you had dirt and gravel and stuff and you wanted to take them away, you wanted to put them somewhere else, or you had a certain amount of items and you wanted to put them somewhere. You could do that with this system. It's not exactly the most efficient. I'm going to show you one of the most efficient ways, but that's one of the ways you could do it. Once again, I don't like it. It is better, but it's not my favorite. Our next one is one of my favorites. It's one of the best ways to do it. This one is by far the best. The last one I'm going to show you, but this one does its job. It's exactly what you're looking for a sorting facility. So, okay, we have the system. There's a couple things in the system right now that could break the system, theoretically. We have rotten flesh, we have iron ingots, we have coal. There's things that don't have a color. What this does is it's the same exact as the previous mode, so it will go through any items. It will go from the top left all the way through. But the biggest difference is this thing right here. This allows us to set a color for any missing items. So missing items that don't have a color set to them, that aren't a part of this sorting machine, will go to pink. Our pink is down here, so that could be anything. So we'll turn this on. It'll start pulsing. Once again, it's a single thing, so it's a little bit slow. That's why the last one's the best. It'll take all stacks, but this will just take single items, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But let's say we take that out. It'll do the next one because it's in the sorting facility, or in the sorting machine. Just like sand, wood, all of these things are already in there, so it will do those first, but then it will take full stacks of the things that aren't going, that don't have a home. I don't know why it takes full stacks of those, but it just does. So the things that didn't have a home went to our pink because I set it to pink. And look, they're over here. So this is how, if you guys didn't see at the beginning of the episode, this is how my sorting facility works for the most part. So everything comes down into this sorting machine. I have a filter up there. I don't necessarily need a filter now. That's one of the things I can change. But everything comes into this sorting machine. Everything that doesn't have a color associated to it goes to purple, which goes into the next sorting machine. Everything that doesn't have a color associated with it again goes to purple, which is the next one. And I could do that forever. And this one actually just goes into my final chest, my little junk chest for things that can be done later. But that's one of the best ways. It's one of the two best ways to do your sorting facility, because there is there's a built-in backup basically. So that's what you're looking for. You don't want this system to clog up. You don't want it to be stuck. So we'll go through. So like I said, this is the best one, or it's one of the best ones. It's one of the two best ones if you have a color that's associated to things that aren't going to a specific color. So if I was to make a sorting facility now, I'd do the same way, except the pink would be down here. Like this pipe would be pink, and then this would be my next sorting machine, which could do the rest. Because as you guys can see, the sorting machine only has 8 columns, so there's only so many things you can do. So do be careful with that. We'll go into the next one though. This next one is any item whole stack. It'll start in the top left like normal, but it'll take as much as a full stack. This doesn't have a color, so what will happen here, I just like to turn it off so that we don't have things going everywhere while I'm putting stuff in. But we have all of our items here, but we'll throw rotten flesh in there and it won't go anywhere. So we'll tick that, and it's taking full items. So, but as you guys can see, rotten flesh is stuck because it doesn't have a color associated with it. So that takes full stacks. It's better. It's not perfect. The last one is one of the most perfect situations, if not the perfect situation for a sorting machine. So as you guys can probably already figure out what happens. We will reset the system. We'll set it to the next color, and you could set this to any color. If you left click, it goes one direction. If you right click, it goes the other direction. So if you miss one, like let's say you want blue and you're clicking through, you see blue but you won't go one pass, you can right click and go back to it. So that's one of the other ways to change the colors. But we'll put all of our items in here. We'll throw you and you and you and you. Throw all those in there. We'll set it to automatic, and it'll start going. It will do all the things that are associated with a color first, and then it will do the stacks of the things that aren't associated to a specific color, and it'll do those last. So these are the modes for the sorting machine. I hope you guys learned something. I definitely learned something today. thank you, Tyler, for suggesting this, because, or asking to see more about it, because otherwise I would have never known. So thank you for that suggestion. And like always, if you guys have suggestions, this is what I can do. I can go through and do the research part of it and show you guys videos. And I'm sure there's probably not that many videos about how to specifically do this. There's videos about how to make a sorting facility, and people just put sorting machines down and go ho hum and don't go through every little single mode and teach you guys the differences about the modes. So once again, I hope you guys learned something. If you did, if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more of these videos, obviously leave a like, leave a comment saying that you enjoyed it and you want to see more of these, even have a suggestion. Certain things might have to wait depending on the complexity. If there's certain items that I've never made before in an episode or in something before, like I didn't mind making this because I've done this before for the most part. That's why I didn't have to show it step by step. But let's say you want to see a super duper nuclear reactor, something weird that has never been done before by me. That might take a couple steps, like need to show how to do one thing and then the next thing and then the next thing. So, but once again, if you guys did enjoy the video, leave a like, share some favorites, do help me out. It gets me out to more people. The more people that are involved in the series, the more suggestions I can get and the more episode ideas I can get, which is perfect. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and have a nice day.